through a lot of product organizations. How do you see the differences in terms of process or structures and tools for like the outcome driven organization versus the ones that are, more sort of the traditional feature based?
Yeah, I think like a lot of the companies start with Jira. Let's put it that way, right? Like we start with Jira. It helps us understand what's the work in progress, how do we prioritize it, where we're going from that perspective. But then there tends to be a gap, and that's why I got really excited about Dragonboat, into how do we tie all of the things that we're actually working on to what we're achieving from a strategy. And most organizations that I've worked with, and even when I've deployed strategy through organizations, there's no good place to go back and say, like, how are we tracking our goals? How are we making progress towards it? What is our strategy that we can go revisit all the time, and then see how all of these, 7,000 tickets that we have in Jira roll up into actually achieving that. So those things, so that piece is like a big gap that I've seen in a lot of organizations, and why I got excited about Dragonboat, because as a chief product officer, when I look at setting a strategy, I need to understand, where am I in actually achieving it? So right now it's a really manual process, but the good companies, what they're doing is they are pulling data from all different systems, right? Like they are connecting their Jira into systems where they can monitor the OKRs. They've got their OKRs in a system. They're pulling the financials into it so that they can track, like, what is the revenue outcomes? What are the cost outcomes into it? They're pulling together, stats from like sales and support about like win-loss analysis into these things. And they're making it a system where you can actually track what the progress is over time against a lot of different key metrics. And in product operations, when we go in and like implement this in organizations, chief product officers want to look at things like, what percentage of a customer segment is adopting different features? What percentage of our revenue is coming from which parts of the market? How does that all translate back into the priorities that we actually have for product development? That's the type of things that we want to look at. And then we also want to see how our costs are allocated per feature, per initiative, per what we're going after, and then make sure that that actually makes sense. Because that's where we start to make strategic decisions about, should we start doing this? Should we stop doing this? Should we go into a different market? Should we roll this down? Are we actually ensuring that? So those are like the absolute critical things that you need to be monitoring all the time, especially as a product leader. If you don't have the insights into that data immediately, you got to go do it manually every time. And it's so time consuming. So like the more we can adopt products like Dragonboat, where we can get that in there and be able to like open up something and just look at it real fast, the faster we can make strategic decisions. And if you are in a high growth SaaS company, like the faster you can make a decision, the better your company is, right? Like that's success right there, is being able to make a decision and run with it.